Hello and welcome to anyone who's watching this video. This is an overview of a Veritas no. 4 smoothing plane. I've been looking for one of these for a while second hand because I've been curious about the design. They look so different and innovative in the way they're made. I've often wondered what they were like to use. They're about £325 new in the UK, so they're not cheap. And I managed to pick this one up for £255. It's in good condition, it's hardly been used. So if you look at it, the adjustable mouth is actually the frog. It's actually part of the bed, moves to close the mouth up. To adjust that, there's a screw in here which access through the cap. There's a thumb screw here and a wheel that moves the frog mechanism backwards and forwards. So let's strip it to pieces, take it apart and have a look why it's so different. The screw cap is aluminium. It's quite heavy, but it is alloy, it's not magnetic. So this is the screw here that you can access through the cap. I'll take that out so it's not in the way. And then take that screw out of there. Then there's a thumb screw here. We'll take that off. And now the frog will lift out. As you can see, the frog is part of the handle assembly. It's very unusual in its design. It definitely unique, there's no doubt about that. It looks as though this part here is the part of the bed you can see, and the bearing surfaces are here and here. Interestingly enough, that's got a number 13 on it, so I don't know whether when they're manufacturing them they put a number, whoever assembled them, I don't know. But it's also milled here slightly, which must give it a kind of track to run in. So the bed itself now feels quite light. You can see the points where it sits, where the frog sits in the base, and this back piece here, and the two fixing screws, and this is the adjuster for moving the frog backwards and forwards. I'm just looking at that now, and that bit of machining there, let me just slip that into there. Yeah, so that machining on the inside of there, this part, merely sits over that brass knurled adjuster. It looks as though any movement this way is dealt with by these on the side here, where it fits in. So it's nicely machined, it's nicely made. I'm not over keen on that screw, I'll be honest. It looks a bit tinny to me, like kind of galvanised. I'd like to see a nice stainless steel screw in there personally for the item, but it's only nitpicking, but that's just me looking at it and thinking I'd like a better screw in it than that really, but still. So that goes back in, that goes back into there. And that's the base reassembled. This part you can see here is the part of the frog we were looking at. So on this also it has two grub screws either side, which are used to centralise the blade, to stop it moving too much one way or the other, just to make it more stable at that end. The blade in this one is an A2 blade. They do a very hard blade, which I can't honestly remember the name of it now, but I do have a plane with that blade in, but I do find it a bit of a bind if you need to regrind it. It's hard work. This one, someone's mauled it a bit. Nearly ruined the blade actually, because it hadn't been sharpened on the front, but somebody'd done the old, they'd had a buffing wheel on the back of it. And I don't know whether you can see that big scar there. Well, the whole thing was scarred. It just took me quite a while to get that back to anywhere near flat. What I would say there is, please don't sharpen your planes with a buffing wheel. I see people online on YouTube and things like that sharpening their plane irons on a buffing wheel, and please don't do that. You can't get them flat. They might be able to do it, they might have a knack of doing it, but for most people it just isn't viable to do that. And what happens, I'll show you a chisel I've got here that was made, and it's been polished with a buffing wheel, and you can see the lines in the metal where the buffing wheel's gone. You can't get them flat. The only time I think a buffing wheel's appropriate for sharpening something is maybe carving tools, because they don't need to be flat and they're kind of all curved and rounded anyway. So that's just my opinion on that. This blade was nearly scrapped because of that. So it all fits together nicely. The notch adjuster is really nice, very accurate, very smooth. That's too far in. There we go. And that's that. So yeah, so you can slacken that off through there, just a small turn, just so it's just cracked it slightly. Slacken that off slightly, and then this wheel will open and close this mouth, and it actually operates very smoothly. You can see, rather than see where the blade is, it's easier to see it there, but you can see that it actually moves freely and easily. And it's an ingenious idea, and then when you've got your mouth where you want it, you just lock it off with that back screw and just tighten that one up in there. Very clever design. The machining's very good. It's flat and square, and it's very nice. I will put a bit more of a chamfer on this myself. They've just taken the corner off, but as I come to use it, I will take a bit more off it. As I said, this hasn't been used, apart from someone tried to buff the blade up and it didn't turn out too well. The handles look like they're made out of Bubinga. They're very nice, very nicely finished. They've got a nice feel to them. It works very well. It's very effective. It's a lovely plane to use. It's a nice weight, and it's not too heavy. It's just right, I would say. It planes very nice. It'll take whisper shavings off, or heavy if you want to. And I like it a lot. I was always dubious about spending the money on one because they look so different. I thought they might not. That I might not like it, and it was just too different to buy one. It was too big of a step from one of these to that. And I've heard people saying that the handles are roomy and upright, and that's true as well. But the interesting thing about that is, as you'll know if you've seen my other videos, I'm very particular about handles and how they feel. The Lee Nielsen I've got, I swapped off for some vintage handles. And I did also, a doubt in my mind of buying one was the fact that the handle might not suit me, but it's actually very comfortable and very flexible. What I've noticed is that if you get a traditional one like this and you get it and you're locked into it, it's kind of locked into your hand all round, and you don't get a lot of, it's difficult to explain, but you don't get a lot of kind of give that way. You can't bend your wrist that way. What I've noticed with this one is it's comfortable. There's loads of room in it. You can put your finger like you normally do. You can lock your finger off, which is ideal. But there's loads of room in it, and if you want to ease your grip a bit, you can sort of straighten your arm out. So I find the handle very good and very flexible. I think that just about covers all the basics of it. I really like it. I think it's a very clever design, and it's nice to use, and I think I could be quite happily using that all day, every day, and enjoying the experience. So that's just a quick look at that. There aren't many reviews on it online that I can see, and nobody takes them apart so you can see how they actually function. So I thought this might be of interest to somebody or of help to somebody. But yes, I like it a lot. It is different, but it's good different. So thank you for watching, and take care.